Coming from a casting family, there's four of us. There's only four of us in the family and we're all in casting. So it's been everywhere with us, you know, pretty much on holidays when it used to be the books of, you know, actors and actresses. I remember my mum thumbing through Spotlight, and at one point she got repetitive strain injury and she had to have a wrist guard, you know, to go through Spotlight. But my parents still will look through all the Spotlight books, and that's how they're cast.
They had a big end of third year show. They'd invited all the agents and the managements of theatres and that sort of thing to come and see this end of term thing. And one of the agents asked me to join afterwards. And Val May, who ran the Ipswich Repertory Theatre then, he asked me to go to Ipswich Rep. So that was great. I killed two birds with one stone there. I had an agent and I had a job to go to as soon as I left, which was terrific.
It was really funny because I got nominated. I wasn't going to go to the ceremony. And then a friend of mine who also got nominated at Guild, who was an amazing actor, said, please, let's just go together. Let's just, you know, and we went, and when I heard my name called out, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. It was a personal, really personal achievement. As to what it's done to my career, I have no idea, actually. I don't know what happens when people see my CV, if they think, oh, Spotlight Award win. I have no idea. No one ever sort of discusses it with me. But I'm sure it's a really nice, well, I know it's a nice accolade to have, you know. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
At school, your only chance you get in this particular environment is to act, you know, in plays and stuff. And it's only if you really figure out yourself as to what's out there behind the scenes, whether it's backstage or whether it's in an agency or producing, it always just seems that people come from the acting background and move in. So I know quite a few producers or agents or directors that have been actors at various points. I think it's just a natural beginning. I didn't start like that, but I think it is the natural way, yeah.
I love the fact that all the drama showcases are up on there so that, you know, I can just go, oh yes, Ours one is this Wednesday, or Central School of Speech and Drama is this Thursday. I've got a free afternoon, let's pop along to it.
A lot of people came to see the showcases that you put on and the plays that you put on. So it's weird, actually, because you then sort of finish drama school. In my case, I finished but had somewhere to go, quite aware that a lot of people don't. But it's weird how casting directors know who you are before you even know what they are, because casting directors, I didn't really know what their role was, although I know that it's in the name. I was really quite naive and didn't really understand what that relationship was supposed to be.
I think there's always something very satisfying about whenever a graduate gets their first job. That's a really nice feeling, because obviously there is a balance as an agent between the actors you represent, and some of them are quite experienced and casting directors will know them and they'll be called in, you know, naturally people will come looking for them because they'll want them to do roles, they'll want them to audition for something, they'll want to offer them something. And so, you know, with those, the job is very much about negotiating that contract and getting them the best deal they can possibly get, which is always very interesting. But when people start out in their careers, no one knows who they are, and getting that person in the door and getting them seen by a casting director and that leading into a job is a really proud feeling. It's really nice. You do feel really, really chuffed when someone gets their first job. I've just had a graduate get their first job and it's at the RSC, and I think, you know, seeing how happy he was and him sort of screaming down the phone does make you smile, definitely.
I work from home, so quite often I will get up and either a new project will be coming in, which I'll be putting out a breakdown for, or a new script will be coming in and I'll have a read through of it and trying to analyse parts that are either going to go on offer or if they need to be put out in the breakdown. It can range from anywhere between going to meetings with either the production company or the director, just to make sure that we're on the same page, or trawling through my files to find people that are right, or actually doing auditions as well, you know, here at Spotlight or elsewhere.
On a day-to-day basis, it's everything from using Spotlight, for example, to suggest your actors. It's in terms of their contracts, it's in terms of going out there and trying to spot new talent, making sure that the actors that you currently represent are well looked after in whatever way that can be, whether it's a very important way with a contractual negotiation, or whether that's more day-to-day tasks, maybe even publicity and press and things like that. So all of these things can come into it, and it's just you're there to really offer your advice and guidance, and use your know-how and experience to know whether somebody should be going down a particular path or not.
I do try and stagger the breakdown so you don't get so overwhelmed by suggestions, because of course, correctly, agents, when they see it on Spotlight, will pick up the phone and start pushing clients, and so you try and do sort of the main roles first, and you really don't want to hear from anybody until you've got those cracked. But my favourite part is the one-liners and the day players, because those actors have got to be so talented to come in and be a nurse or be a teacher or a policeman or whatever the role is, and in one line you've got to buy that you're in a hospital, or you're a mother who's just been told your son's dead, or the things you see actors do for one line in a film or a television is extraordinary.
Nothing's much changed for me. I'm still writing to agents and casting directors and directors. Obviously, the birthday cards and the Christmas cards are very good to write to directors that you know and have worked with before, and that's quite a good idea. But apart from that, I'm not sure really what's changed much. I'm still learning. And I think that's key, really. There's always something to learn. And I don't think you can say that there are any hard and fast rules to this. That's probably the best thing. This thing here, it's not guaranteed to work. Neither is this thing here. You just got to try and do what you can do with whatever it is you've got, and always try something else,
I've always had an agent, and they really do the searching around. But they always say, it's coming up time for you to put your picture in Spotlight again. That was absolutely de rigueur. You had to be in Spotlight because that's where all the casting directors looked. It has changed a lot, because I remember there were just 2 books when I started, one for men and one for women. And now I'm told there are 5 tomes. And of course, you've got all the online stuff as well.
I mean, Spotlight, I think, facilitates the way we do business nowadays. And I think Spotlight's done a really clever thing in the last, 10, 15 years in kind of moving away from just being a directory of actors to providing this sort of breakdown service. And, that is something we use every day, and it speeds things up immeasurably, because obviously if a casting director can send a breakdown out, it can be on an agent's desk within seconds. We can suggest people on the link very, very, very quickly. And it makes the industry work. It makes it tick along. And I think at the moment, it feels like 99% of the breakdowns that come out are being sent over the Spotlight link. And it's a really useful tool to have. And, I think Spotlight should be very proud of it.
I couldn't really do it without it. I think there are other options out there, but I think for a serious actor, Spotlight is the one to be on. The whole thing of having voice clips up there, having show reels, going back to when people that I've worked for used to talk about having things faxed through or posted around, and I know a lot of casting directors still like hard copy of things. It's also helped that I now run a paperless office, so it's been brilliant for that because everything's just there and I don't need to kind of do anything, and it works on the iPad and all those kind of things as well, so it's great.
We used to use a thing called feature fax, which BT provided, and that would fax all the agents the breakdown, and it was a complete nightmare. And it would take you half a day just to distribute the brief, whereas now, before I came here this morning, it took me 20 minutes just to put something on Spotlight, and that's great. It's gone. It means it's a lot more 24 hours now, and so I put breakdowns on Spotlight at random hours of the night, when it suits me, when I can, and just agents sometimes suggest at 1:04 a.m. and stuff like that. So the technology has meant that there's less rest, I guess, but it's made it incredibly easy to spread the word,
Self-taping now can be done. Spotlight offer a fantastic service for self-taping, very quick, and it works perfectly well. But sometimes people can't get into London for Spotlight, and sometimes they're in different countries, and self-taping with your camera on your iPhone or iPad, it's not the best of quality, but at like half an hour it could be done, and it's, the quickness is what's helping us. You know, technology really is helping things to speed along, so you don't miss any opportunities whatsoever. And as an actor, you need to help your agent by being on top of those things and being quick to respond, because nowadays the industry is moving at such a fast pace.
The industry can't just sit back, it has to go with the flow, and you know, as things change, I think it's good to see that we're sort of embracing them and using them, and it is really useful. You know, there are tools out there that we now use that 5 years ago we weren't, that have really helped things, and they mean you can spend more time doing what we feel like we should be doing, which is trying to find work for our actors, rather than typing up CVs and feeding things into fax machines and stuff. So yeah,
it's much more global now, definitely. And as a caster, you're expected to have knowledge of everything. You know, Scandinavian actors, American, Australian. You really are expected. And fair enough, if you don't have a list to hand of you know, the top Ghanaian actors, you are expected to know how to access it pretty quickly.
But I still love doing television. I love everything about television. I love the technicality of it. I love the cameras. I love the crew. I love the people in the makeup room. And just the whole thing is so exciting. And I don't think I'll ever lose that.
You might want to think, well, you know, this is all about the actors. They're the ones who are bringing the money in. We only earn when they earn, and it's, you know, it's in both our interests to make that happen. But you know, they're the ones with the creative gift, and you know, we owe it all to them, really.
I love the fact that I've probably in the last 6 years had so much varied stuff. Like I said, I went to the RSC straight away and I played Dionysa in Pericles, which is an amazing part to come out of drama school to play.
The best thing about this job, without a doubt, is seeing something through, from an idea or just a suggestion on Spotlight, to seeing it through to the audition, to the meeting, seeing it to a recall, and then to get that offer and to do it, and then seeing it on that screen at the end of the day 6 months later, or on stage 6 months later, and knowing that you've been a part of making that happen. You can't beat that. That's the buzz. That's our buzz. You know, actors have a very different kind of buzz, which they say can't be replicated. That's our buzz. You know, getting a client a job, and that offer comes in. Doesn't matter if it's your first offer or your 5 millionth offer. It's still a brilliant, brilliant feeling.